Hello everybody. Today our topic is about gross domestic product. Let's understand what is GDP, how it is calculated, and why do we need to know about it. First of all, we need to define GDP, which is the market value of all finished goods and services produced in a country during a certain period of time. Here are some key points that need to be explained in order to avoid confusion. So our first key point here is all finished goods and services. Let's see, what does it mean? Okay, let's take a car production as an example. When we produce a car, some parts of the car we buy from different companies. They are intermediate goods in our car production, so we don't calculate their price in GDP in order to avoid double counting. Only the total value of the sold car, which is for final use, is calculated in GDP. Some other example, what is an egg? Is it a finished good? If consumer buys it for the final use, yes it is. But if a bakery buys egg and use in the cake production, then it is not. Therefore, the cake is for final use and its price is calculated in GDP. The second key point here is a market value. The market value, it's the second key point. Let's see, what does it mean? It is the price of any goods and services sold in the market. However, there are values in the country that don't have market price. For instance, polar bears, they don't have market price and they are not sold in the market, so the value of the polar bears cannot be calculated in GDP. Take attention, there are some national values or wealth of a country that don't have market price. For instance, the forests. If 80% of a country is covered by forest, it is only a national value, but it does not have market price unless the timber is not used in the wooden production. So the forest value itself cannot be calculated in GDP, so wooden production which have market price is calculated in GDP. The third key point is in a country. Let's see, what does it mean, this one? Okay. When we say produced in a country, we look at net export, which is export minus import, because the goods that are produced abroad, we don't calculate in a country's GDP because it's for the country it is import. Good to know also that GDP is calculated not only for a country, but also for unions, for instance European Union, Eurasian Union, or for the globe, which is the world GDP. And here is our last key point, which is a certain period of time. It's the fourth key point. Let's see, what does it mean? Here we are. Usually we use a year for the calculation of GDP. As we say before, GDP counts only final production, so we calculate the market value of any finished goods and services that are produced in that year. For instance, GDP of US for 2016 was $1846 trillion. Oh, this is a really big number. Here are all final products that are produced in 2016. But take attention, if a house was built in 2010 and it is sold in 2016, this price is not calculated in GDP 2016, but it is calculated for 2010. So now we understand what does it mean gross domestic product, and we can move to the second question of our topic, which is the calculation of GDP. Here we are. The numerical way how GDP is calculated can be written by this formula. GDP is equal quantity of all finished goods and services multiplied with the market price. Here we are. If you are interested in more details and approaches of calculation, please follow my next videos where I will explain the 3 ways of GDP calculation. 3 approaches, which are expenditure, income, and value added approach. So let's move to the third question, which is why do we need to know about GDP? Here, as we say before, or as we see from definition of gross domestic product, it measures the things that are produced in any country, but it does not measure the wealth of a country. Remember the case of polar bears or forest or some other value national wealth that don't have market price. GDP does not measure also the happiness or satisfaction or justice in a country. It does not measure completely the standard of living because GDP misses the distribution of income inside the country. So what finally does the GDP? GDP measures only economic growth. That's why it is so important for anyone who deals, and we all do, with the economy. Thank you for watching. If you have a question, please write in the comments.